Okay, we should be live. Let me move some stuff out of here. So, I done messed up. I'm always messing up. So, let me get logged in. I'm going to scoot this over so you guys can't see my login. But let me show you guys what I'm working on right now. So, first I want to bring the stream up over here. Oops, that's a little loud. Sorry guys. I just want to be able to see the stream here. But, and I actually, oops. Let me actually open this up on the side. Open up live streaming here. I haven't read the comments yet. There's 4 comments. Let me go to community. That's what I want. Okay, so stuff I'll address later. So here's the scenario. So let me go ahead and show you guys what I'm working with here. The CPU overclock's not actually holding. What happens is as soon as I touch the voltage, the multiplier stays at 15 instead of 40. So I contacted ASUS today, and they said that maybe my BIOS update didn't go through right. So I'm going to try that. But I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So let's go advanced mode, exit. Let's load defaults real quick. Let's go back to AI Tweaker. Oh, so let me move this over so you guys can see what I'm doing. Let me know that far in. I'm going to try to stay out of the frame as much as I can. But basically, you go to this, you change it to 40, go down to, now I tried offset mode too, no bueno, 1.4 volts, SoC manual, 1.2, we'll leave the memory where it's at for now, so I reset the memory. The memory overclock's fine, memory overclock held. So, no issues there. So let me get you over to my main screen here. Let me see which light is affecting that. I'm not 110% sure. Nope, it seems fine. Probably actually one of these back here. Okay, we'll stick with it for now. So, going into it here, we can open up this, we can open up this. But see, it says 3992, and then give it a minute, and it'll drop to 15, which is fine, except, and this is when I realized there was an issue. World of Warcraft was playing horribly. So here, let me see if I can get a better shot at what's going on there. Here, let me, there we go, you guys should be able to see that. So even when I stress test it, and this is why the temperatures and power output were so good, it goes to 100% over here, right? And this stays at the same speed. So that's the issue I'm running into. So this is what I'm going to try to do. I have the BIOS downloaded somewhere. I don't remember. I tried downloading the performance plans and everything of that nature, but really I didn't have a lot of success. So, okay, let's open up the ASUS tool here. AI Suite 3. We're going to see if we get anything going here, because voltage is fine. It's set at 1.4, but I just, for the life of me, I can't. Now, if I use the Ryzen Master tool, it'll work, but that does say it was my memory overclock. And The problem is Ryzen Master does not like to go the 1.35 volts for the memory, which is the big issue. So they said I can re-update the BIOS over top of itself. So that's what I'm going to try. He said if that doesn't work, try going back one revision. So that'll be my other idea as well once this loads. Okay. Because I remember that it may have not actually went through properly. So let's see if I can actually reflash it to see if it's going to work. Because if I can get this to 4 at 1.4 volts, it's probably where I'll keep it. So we'll go from there. Okay. God, I hope it actually flashed it, because that wasn't that quick. So, okay. Shut off, power back on. I really probably should have undid the overclock though, just in case. Okay, I got post on the left screen. The left screen always posts first, I don't know why. And they said, if that doesn't work, try going back a BIOS revision. If that doesn't work, try swapping the CPU. So that's what we're working on today. We'll find out if it's going to want to work or not. Although that solid black screen is not doing me well over here. Oh, okay, now we're good. That worried me for a second. So it's processing, so I'll just let it be. I won't touch anything. Really don't want to mess with stuff during a BIOS update. For those of you that haven't done one recently, if it goes wrong, it's not pretty. So yeah, it looks like it is doing the full BIOS flash, whatever. I hope this is the problem. I really would like to get this thing to 4 gigahertz. I'd like to see how well this chip has been. At 1.4 volts, I'm a hair over 100 watts. So, which is fine. I mean, it's running a little bit hotter than my 1600, which makes a lot of sense. Being cooler than my 1600 made no sense. That made me really not like my 1600 that well. But yeah, I was playing WoW and I was getting like 60 FPS, and like I was like, that's not right, because I was getting over 100 in the open world on different settings. So okay, let's enter into setup. So the BIOS is reflashed. Let me see. Okay, it should have undid my settings. Yes, it did. So let's try this. 40. Manual. 1.4. Manual. 1.2. All I want to do, I don't want to mess with anything else right now. Memory's fine. I know I can get the memory to work. The question is can I get the CPU to actually overclock? That's what I'm hoping we can get done today. Let me actually change the title here. And the stream. You can actually do all this from a YouTube app, interestingly enough. Let's go videos. We need most of it. Okay, so apparently I can't do this from the YouTube app. So I lied. Call me a liar. I actually have to pull it up from the actual YouTube page. Okay. Just reading some of my comments here. Some interesting comments I want to address, but we'll work on that later. Okay. Not what I wanted. Okay, it's still not working right. Let me just put under a quick load to make sure. Because the voltage is floating properly, 1.4. And I asked about doing like adjustments to the lead line calibration, stuff like that, and he said no. So, and honestly, most overclocking I've done in my time, it's still stuck. Okay, so we're going to download an earlier version of the BIOS, one revision earlier, so X370 Prime. So we're going to see if this helps. We're going to try flashing to that. I guess the news is if I break the board, I have another board to use, so that's why I'm not super worried with messing with this. So Windows 1064 BIOS. So I'm on this. What changes did he make here? Oh, that's a beta version. No wonder I'm having issues. I'm an idiot. Delete that. Tell my fiance is on the beta program for Apple, and she has all these issues with her phone. And you guys know I work in the mobile phone industry, and I tell her, I was like, because you're on beta. Like, I don't want to call her an idiot, but that's essentially it. You're on. Of course, you're gonna have issues, and unfortunately, I can't fix them. You know, we don't support beta at all, so. I definitely feel like an idiot. Hope I can flash it back this way without having to make a USB drive. That'd be nice. Okay, it's loading. Yep, still loading. Yeah, I abandoned this board. 506, I want to say. 504 is when I last used it. So 612 definitely make a difference. It's locked up. We'll reboot in a second. Okay. Let's hope this works. Because I have pretty good cooling, so. Okay, power cut. Of course, that was pretty quick for power to come back on, but. We'll go to the other computer while this finishes real quick and change the name of the stream. Stream with my old 6-core. It's funny, I'm talking about old 6-core, it's a Ryzen 6-core. Ryzen 5 1600. Yet it's my old 6-core. Okay. Got live stream. Okay. I know there's really none of you guys actually watching, which is fine, but you guys will watch this later. So I'll turn this a little bit so you guys can see what's going on. Zoom in. Really need a camera operator, you know that? It's my fiance was supposed to be. But so here's hoping that that fixes it though. And then once, if I can get this thing fixed pretty quickly, turn this here really quick. Posting that tonight on Craigslist. That is a Ryzen 5 1600, 16 gigabytes RAM, 500 gig SSD, GTX 1050 Ti, Cooler Master Hyper 212 Evo, a Seasonic M12-2, 520 watt 80 plus bronze power supply, fully modular or semi-modular. The only thing that's not modular is the CPU connector and the 24 pin. I consider that fully modular. the Cooler Master Case Pro 3, a Gigabyte AV350M Gaming 3 board. It's a good setup. I would go to say the GPU is probably the bottleneck there. I mean, unfortunately, what that comes down to is, you know, I'm looking to just offload some of the stuff I have, and I got that for a good deal. But if I want a 1060, I mean, even if I paid retail for that, 1060 is twice as much, and you can't get any RXs. Basically, I was going to overspend on a graphics card, and I was going to make it up or get a really good deal on a 1050 Ti. Once the mining comes down, that'll be fine. But I mean, that card's fine. I mean, I'll do some benchmarks and everything and post it. You guys might be surprised. I mean, some of your games like GTA 5 will probably play maxed out or pretty close to maxed out settings. World of Warcraft does well even at 1440p, let alone, you know, 1080p, stuff like that. But I mean, I'm curious to see what like Ghost Recon Wildlands runs. I mean, Ashes of the Singularity is going to be interesting, so that's going to be pretty cool. Oh, that's interesting. So, I had a professor, a teacher in high school who, it's funny because I waited on him at work multiple times in the last 6 months, and I presume due to the fact the person he was with and his demeanor that he was in a domestic relationship with another guy, which I'm all for. You know, people to be happy, you know, my beliefs are people need to be happy. Religion aside, that's something they have to deal with at death and things of that nature. I'm never going to be somebody to deny somebody of pursuing what they want. They have free will, and that's the beauty of being a human being. But anyway, so the school district I went to denied him spousal retirement rights, and I guess he sued and won. So that's actually pretty cool. But yeah, he was actually an art teacher of mine. Good guy, very good guy. Definitely happy to see that he won that legal battle. Now, politics is an interesting thing. I had a conversation with family yesterday, and I said, you know, global warming aside, and you know, the ozone layer aside, and I have friends that are actual scientists, research scientists, stuff like that, and I tend to believe them over other people. But regardless of my beliefs aside, when you look at things such as, you know, Sweden, that's the most efficient recycler out there, where they don't have waste, they don't have landfills, they import trash from other countries because they can recycle, reuse at such a high level compared to everybody else. Why we don't have a system like that here is purely because of money. So advancing technologies, you know, things such as throwing, you know, stuff in landfills and just, that's just not a good idea. And there's ways around it, but money holds advancement back of science. But anyway, so enough political talk for now. So let's find out. 40. Okay. Hope this works. I think Geek the 101's episode 97 previews came out. I like following his stuff. Good guy.
Behold, the spicy black bean burger. Morningstar.
Oh wow, I totally didn't spell Ryzen correct. Fail. Okay. Hopefully it didn't fail to load Windows, that would suck. Okay. We're in Windows. God, I hope this works. It didn't. That is disappointing. That is really disappointing. I mean, it's not even like I don't have enough voltage. Because the Ryzen Master works. I just have reservations about this board. I really do. So let's go. Okay. Let's go to Save Profile, Apply. Try this one more time. Here's what I'm going to do. Undo the overclock. I'll try to overclock it via the Ryzen Master tool. Morning Crackling Ice. Having issues with the overclock. It wasn't. It's not sticking from the BIOS. As soon as it gets into Windows, it won't go. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now. I mean, I asked them, like I said, I asked them about power settings and things of that nature, so. Trying not to get away too much here. I mean, it's weird because everything's set. Wouldn't bother me if I just have to use Ryzen Master for the time being. The problem is I just, as much as I like this board, or hate this board, I can't sell it. Too many issues that are plaguing the actual board for me to sell it. I don't feel confident. My Ryzen 5 build, that board's been rock solid. I've had it overclock a little bit, not much, 200 or 300 megahertz, and it worked fine. Okay. Now, what you'll see here, oops. So I'll load that up real quick. So everything's back to stock. So it's good. I can change the multiplier. It's when I change the voltage, everything goes to hell. Now I have to undo this. So apply. There we go, real time, it worked. Now, this is where shit hits the fan. 0.32. Basically as high as this wants to go. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to pump it up just a little bit. The 2400. Now I need to reboot. I doubt it's even going to boot. What's happening is I mean, I don't run Ryzen Master. I download Ryzen Master until after this issue started to happen. So the problem I'm running into is as soon as I touch the voltage, no WAN. And because there's not enough voltage in the memory, like 0.03, I'll show you here, it's turning off and on. It's literally just a little bit of voltage makes that difference. It's that light. Which light is causing that? Let's see something here. I think I figured out which light's causing it. Don't think it's this one either. Nope. It is guaranteed a natural light. Now, CPU's 5 memory doesn't like to move in this situation. So, here's the other problem. This Ryzen Master overrides my BIOS settings. So I can't even mess with the BIOS and just run Ryzen Master here. God, that's annoying. There we go. So, I guess I have to choose between memory overclock and CPU overclock. Oops. Not what I want. Well, I found out that wasn't stable. So, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do what I did before, and that is settle with 3.8. I'm not sure if it's the chip or the board, so we'll find out. But this is what I can do, because I've done this earlier before. So go into here, advanced. Sorry, let me show you guys what I'm doing here. Let me tilt this down a little bit. So, hopefully I'm not really in the way here. So I'm going to AI tweaker. I'm going to turn on TCOP. I'm going to go TP2, reboot. I have to keep the voltage at auto, or else as soon as I do any kind of offset or override, it won't boot. I'm going to change multiplier from 37.5 to 38, and then leave it at that. So chances are the chip just needs a lot more voltage, and there's probably issues with the board, or possibly it could be, come on, it could be that maybe I'm not feeding enough voltage. That could very well be the case. So this was relatively stable for me last night. I didn't have any issues. So we'll find out. Okay. Oh, come on. Why don't you want to overclock? It just worked fine yesterday. I give up. No, I don't really give up. It's just annoying. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I missed something. My bad. I think I still have to change that. That would make sense. 0.9 is nowhere near enough for that. come on. I just had this working yesterday. This is what happens when your overclock fails. Oh, no, it didn't shut off that time. Should have. Wait for the blue light to kick on the monitor at the bottom. It's currently amber. That's when we know we got post. But chances are it's an overclock. Okay, didn't yell at me. Nope, there it did. Okay. Oh. I didn't actually look at the settings. The joys of overclocking when it worked fine yesterday. Honestly, I think for now, until I figure it out, because I don't feel like taking the board out and doing all that. Probably going to just mess with the memory instead of the actual clock speed. Because memory overclocking I think is a lot more important. It should boost up to 3.7 automatically, so. Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. Go here. Go here. Load. You know what though, I am on an older BIOS now instead of the data. Let's do and tweaker. So I might have to go back to the beta BIOS, which is fine if I do, because that was pretty stable. Yep, that's going to be the case. Power's kicking off again. So update to the new BIOS. So it wasn't the BIOS being the problem. What's it? X370 Pro. So the one cool thing about these live stream, and just because for somebody that, you know, for anybody in my audience that doesn't do stuff like this, you know, I'm actually off this weekend, which is kind of nice. This is just some of the things that somebody like a tech tuber or tech person runs into on a daily basis. When you're tweaking and messing with stuff, you know, unfortunately, believe it or not, stuff does not work every time. In many cases, things fail a lot. Overclocking, memory sticks may not be compatible. That's not really an issue, but like with Ryzen, like overclocking memory sticks, for example. So, you know, it's fun because it's a challenge, so that's definitely nice. I love the problem solve. Now, don't get me wrong, it eventually gets irritating if it comes out that something's bad, it's annoying. You know, like this board, there's a lot of issues with the board being a day one board. It's probably going to get to the point where I'm going to eventually RMA it to Asus whenever I feel like it. Probably when I'm in between projects or something like that, and I'm, probably now would be a good time. But I don't feel like tearing apart this beauty. But look at that. So, gotta take this off the charger for a second, so you guys can see. So, there's a lot of glare. So we have, whoops. Let's fix that here. So we have the 3 SP120s. I have an SP120 rear, two SP120s on the top. Got the glare going on where the GPU is. Got white sleeve cables. It's nice. It's definitely a really nice rig. I like it a lot. You guys can see my, as my brother says, ugly mop. Okay, let me fix my my El Gato, which means cat in Spanish, but it's actually the name of my streaming product, which honestly I think does a good job for $160. Okay, so let's go back and reflash the BIOS. I feel like I'm running out of time to reflash this thing. Okay. Go to Asus AI Suite 3. Because honestly, I would prefer memory overclock over CPU overclock personally. Just given how memory overclocking helps Ryzen. So, but yeah, the overclock last night worked. It was 3.8 gigahertz, 3000 megahertz RAM. I think that's like the best dial-in, given the fact that I know I'm only raising the core speed by 100 megahertz. Let me make sure this is right. Yeah, I'm only but it's going to push it on all cores, not just one or two. So, interesting. Not sure if I discussed this yet, so I'll discuss this now. So this was actually posted on Linus Tech Tip forums here. And I really need to start being more professional, putting in links and everything like that, but I forget. I'm sorry, guys. Like I said, I'm not professional. I do this for fun and for you guys. But the post is, and I'll show it here, it's 7900X from Intel, and it's called 7900X is coming in hot. So the problem is everybody's trying to get the system to run like 4.5 gigahertz on all cores. I mean, a 10-core processor at that speed is amazingly fast. But what's shown here is even at 275 volts, it's hitting over 90 degrees Celsius with a Kraken X62. Now, for anybody who doesn't know much about closed-loop coolers, from my experience, the Kraken X61, which I use my fiance's rig, and the X62 are some of the best closed-loop system cores out there. The 280, I think they use copper throughout. If I'm not, they might use aluminum, but they have a great pump. It's just a fantastic cooler across the board. And if that can't keep up, then you're definitely gonna have trouble. So it goes to say that temperatures we're seeing north of 90 degrees Celsius with 4.5 gigahertz and 1.275 volts, and we're still seeing pretty high thermals without the overclock as well. That'll be covered in a separate piece from us. Quite hot, 95 degrees Celsius. Package temperature with cores high as well, which is going to make somewhat of a limiter for future overclock. And lastly, power increases by a couple hundred watts when overclocking. That's especially true when you start overclocking the memory as well. So, yeah, I mean, so the person who posted it was Tom_W141, and he goes on to say, okay, well, assuming this is a good chip, and you have to go 1.3 volts for overclocking, you're in trouble. Unfortunately, I mean, let's be honest. The issue we have with Ryzen isn't thermals. The issue we have with Ryzen is chip limitations. So we do tend to run into thermals because you have to crank out a lot of voltage to get anything over 4 gigahertz. But this is also a first generation product. I'm not, again, harping on it too much. But the fact that they're having so much thermal limitations at such a low voltage with Intel, I mean, if Ryzen had a thermal issue, that'd be a lot better than the issues it has. But how are you going to, like, are you really going to get a 10-core processor for video editing? Because that's essentially what you probably buy it for. And then do a custom liquid cooling setup, which arguably may not even still be enough to hit any reasonable temperatures. Because the general idea is when you do closed loop cooling, you're not doing it to keep your temperatures in operating range, you're doing it to keep your temperatures low. Now it doesn't help with heat dissipation into your room, but it will help with the lifespan of the particular products. CPU, GPU, things of that nature. But I think there might be an issue, and I could be wrong, but there definitely could be an issue with running temperatures that hot with the water you're using. You know, if the water's heating up that much more and your products are still running 70, 75 degrees Celsius on a closed or on a open loop system, a custom loop system rather, I feel like there, and this is could be a question for someone like Ghost on the LTT forums. He's more professional than I am on this. Wind speed also is pretty good as well, but I think there's a temperature threshold that your pump or your water can't get to, and I would think that this CPU is going to exceed that. So you may be stuck with just not overclocking, and that kind of sucks. I know overclock has gotten easier, but that really stinks. And this goes to show that even their flagship product, their 10-core processor they released, actually their flagship was going to be your 12, but the 10-core processor coming out with, boy, did they not do a lot of testing. This definitely contributes to the idea that this was a lot more rushed than what Intel led on to originally. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm happy. I want to see AMD really take a stab out of Intel's pockets. I'd love to see that because that promotes competition. I mean, look what we have with NVIDIA and AMD. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's been a little bit stagnant, but at least AMD's been relevant pretty much for a long time. They may not be the king or the fastest, but they're still delivering solid cards at different price points and winning different battles. I mean, even if that works with this, where AMD's still better on the low, the mid end, and Intel's good on the really high end, on the consumer market, I mean, that's definitely not the case. You know, Intel is not competing on the high end consumer; they're competing on the prosumer market. So that's going to be your Xeons and things of that nature. So, okay, let's see. Let's first do memory overclock, and then we'll go from there. See, this wants to work. Well, didn't lose power, so that's a good thing. No signal. It's still on. There we go. We got post. It's going back into the BIOS. Good there. Okay, we're good. Now, AI tweaker. Let's go to this guy. We'll have to reboot. I feel like I was supposed to go into the BIOS. Yeah, I think I was. Okay, good there. And all I'm going to do is push this 2 levels now what stinks is, I wonder, I mean, it's going to boost about 1.4 volts. I have to wonder if it's actually required or not. You know, then again, the downside with getting a cheaper chip is while it does have a lower package temperature and this and that, it's also bin lower. So my 1700X runs about the same voltage, but also boosts up to 3.8 gigahertz. So neither here nor there. I'm actually going to take this off the thing for a second. There we go. That part was loose. I have one of the cheapest camera stands out there by far. Okay. Now all we changed was SoC and memory voltage. We didn't change anything else. So let's see if it works. Okay, that's essentially 3.8. Bring up that. Bring up that. So good there. Let's check memory. Good there. That's a good memory speed. I'll zoom in a little bit here. So multiply that by 2 and you have the speed we want. It is DDR after all. So we're going to run a couple minute stress test. Nothing crazy, just to make sure it's stable. I only did this for about 5 minutes the other day because it didn't crash right away. So basically we're looking at a couple things. We're looking at, first of all, is it going to crash? Second of all, V-core, so we don't want to go much north of 1.4. And lastly, we're looking at temperatures and wattage. So temperatures south of south of 70 is what I want. And wattage I'm not really concerned about, but I don't really, if it spikes like 1.406 volts, that's fine. I don't want to go any higher than that for long term. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. There's my video. Oh wow, there's 6 of you guys watching now. So for anybody just tuning in, I've been through a lot of headaches. Oh, there's a couple people. Yes, so I apologize. I have a H100i with SP120 fans on it. So this is the headaches I've been running into. When I adjust the voltage in the bias, it doesn't hold it. Or it does hold the voltage, it won't hold the clock speed. So what happens is, and this could very well be that maybe I'm not pumping enough voltage into the clock speed, but I don't want to go above 1.4, but I've also ran it 1.4 at 3.8 gigahertz, didn't work. So what happens is when I set the voltage and then I change the multiplier, it stays at 1.5 gigahertz. If I change the multiplier, it'll change. But as soon as I take the voltage off auto is when it doesn't want to work. So now memory is fine. Memory, I'm just shy of 3,000 megahertz. It won't. I could probably mess with that and get a little bit higher, but it stays just shy of 3,000 megahertz, 2933. That's fine. That's been stable this entire time. What I have to do is I have to turn on ASUS AI Tweaker, and then I can adjust the CPU ratio. But anything above 3.8 gigahertz, it crashes because the voltage goes, I guess, too high for what the system wants it to do. So it ends up crashing. So basically, I'm stuck at 3.8, but I am having a good memory overclock, which I'm okay with that because that's probably more important. I think it's more board. I don't think it's CPU, but I'll test. I have a 1700X. I'll make a means to test it at some point, and we'll find out if that holds true or not. So, but yeah, everything's looking good. Roughly 100 watts out, 3.8 gigahertz, CPU's full load. Another thing we can do. Cinebench. I don't have it downloaded, but I'm going to do that right now. I stopped the stability test because I let it run long enough. Long enough for what I wanted. Ideally, you would definitely want to run it for an hour or two for max stability. Me, I'm not that concerned about it because if it does crash while I do this, then I'll know I have a problem. So, oh god. What is this thing loading? Thank you. I need to find a download spot. There we go. Guru 3D. Where the heck is the download page on? Oh, I think I found it. There we go. Okay, I'm downloading it over on this screen. Sorry, guys. So I'm curious what kind of Cinebench scores I can get. About 2 minutes left on that download. Interestingly enough, GPU is running pretty cool. Turn that all the way up. Let's see if this works. This crashed on it before. Settings, appearance LED. Nope, 2 different computers it crashed on. Then you fix EVGA precision. Alright guys, I got Cinebench going. Let's go ahead and extract this. I'm going to close that out. Close you out. Close you out. Close you out. I want basically as little running as possible. This will give me an idea how stable this overclock is, and you guys can hopefully see live Cinebench or test results. So, if you guys want, if you're curious, I have an SSD with some games on it. If you guys want me to run some benchmarks, let me know. I have GTA 5. I have I don't have Ashes of Singularity one, I don't think. For Honor, Ghost Recon Wildlands, one other game. Oh, Rise of the Tomb Raider. Okay, let's do some live Cinebench testing. So, CPU. It's pretty quick there. And that is 16 threads of power though, so at 3.8 gigahertz. Should run this on a single core. I have a single core Sempron laying around. Holy shoot! Wonder what this is actually supposed to put out. So that's 1700. If you can't see that score, let me zoom in here. $1666. I did it live right in front of you guys. I feel like that's pretty high. I could very well be wrong, but I feel like that's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, to give you an idea, that is actually above an 18. So I'm going to show you my other screen here. So I pulled up this stuff here. So, oh, bottom was what I want. So let me scroll down a little bit. Multi-threaded. The 1700X is supposed to score about 1415. 1700X 1527. 6900K 1549. 1800X 1618. So it actually scored above an 1800X. So that's pretty impressive. Now I got to figure out how to do the single, or if this shows rankings. No, CPU. How do I do single threaded? That's what I'm curious about now. Maybe this one does it? Oh, I'll find out. Ah, 7 Days to Die. I actually do not have that, unfortunately. Greetings, by the way. Best wishes to you guys with everything that we talked about yesterday. So I'll keep that in mind. If anybody in the Pittsburgh market is looking for a cost-effective computer, they have 2 of them for sale, very reasonably priced too. Utilizing a mix of some higher-end older tech and some mid-range current tech. So I built one of them a computer, and they're looking to sell their old ones. So just food for thought if anybody's in the market. Some nice ones. Okay. Oh, okay. That was my video card then. Let me see something here. There we go. That's what I'm looking at. Single core. I want to see how well this does compared to a 7700K. I don't expect it to beat it, but I'm curious. Nice. So, what I should do also, since my 1600's also overclocked at the same speed, the only thing is the memory's not... Oh wait, I can't. I'm streaming on it. Damn. I was going to say, I should see how well it runs. So let me see what games I have on an external SSD here. Pulling up my other computer here, the one that's being streamed on right now. Okay. Oh god, yep, I typed in that password. Oops, wrong one. Apparently it matters where you open Steam at. Almost done. Hopefully this thing scores well. Now I'm curious, do you guys have a phone call? What's going on? Currently live streaming, actually. Oh, okay. Bye. I have visitors. I shall answer that door. I will return. Should automatically be connected, just turn on. And figures my parents are over. Okay, where are we at on this? Almost on the test. Back to what games do I have on here to test? Okay, I only have Rise of the Tomb Raider and GTA 5, as well as For Honor and what was it? Ghost Recon. So once this is done, I'll probably cut the stream for the time being, because I guess entertain. But you've seen a live 2 benchmarks. That's pretty cool. Almost done. Man, that takes a while on a single core. Possibly done? 155. So that's interesting. So let's show you guys here. The single threaded performance. So at the very top, oop, I cut off the 7700K. So at the very top, 191. And then obviously you had the previous generation 177, Devil's K 173, 163 for Haswell. And I slot in right here basically with an 1800X despite it being a smidget slower. My next question is this all clock speed or is memory speed affected? So we'll find that one out probably in the next live stream. But for now, thank you guys for tuning in. This is, let me turn this camera up. Oop, big head. This is Steve from PC Budget Solutions. I'll see you guys later on down the road.